What's up, good people, and welcome back to YouTube from Scratch. In this video, we're going to talk about what happens or what to expect your first year on YouTube. We're going to break this down into two areas, the good and the bad of what to expect your first year on YouTube. Let's talk about the good things first. So as a new YouTuber or a new content creator on YouTube, you are right in the prime position to do a lot of great things. You're meeting a lot of new people as far as other content creators. You have, your whole YouTube career ahead of you. There are a lot of great things to really consider when you are a new content creator. You're creating your channel for the first time. You're seeing a lot of the great things that YouTube has to offer in terms of, just other niches and, a lot of the content that you probably haven't seen before. You are now aware of that because you are, really immersing your time, immersing yourself into the platform and learning new things. So, being a new content creator is a really cool thing. You start to, really get to know the platform a little bit better. You get to know, the different avenues that you can kind of grow your channel with. You get to know, yourself a lot when you are a new content creator. You may be creating a new channel with a lot of pre-existing ideas that you've been wanting to surface for a long period of time. So a lot of those things really start to evolve and take shape when you are a new content creator just coming to the platform. And in year one, because you're a new content creator in year one, you are really kind of, unlocking a lot of the mystery of YouTube and really learning how YouTube works from a content creator standpoint and just from a business model standpoint. And learning YouTube and learning how to create content that first year is one of the most rewarding things you can kind of embark on, especially if you are new to the whole, video creation process or just new to, understanding how YouTube works in general. If you're new to those things, starting out as a content creator is a very cool thing that first year. Enjoying the perks of being able to create additional revenue on YouTube is also a really good plus. So there are all these things. There's a whirlwind of things that are going on in your first year that can be really, really cool. Now, on the flip side of that, oh, man. So let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about the bad things that happen during your first year on YouTube. And this is where things really get interesting because although there are a lot of pluses to starting a YouTube channel, as a content creator, you start to learn that there are some things that you probably want to, really think about before you start a YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with, shooting videos, editing videos and all those things, that can be a challenge, your first year and, really getting under your belt those different skill sets that it takes to become a YouTuber. The other thing is, as you're building relationships and as you're building relationships on a platform, on one side it's good because you get to see, how other content creators are doing things and you would learn from those things. But a lot of times you are learning bad behavior as well because YouTube at its core is a search engine and it has its own way of growing your channels. And a lot of times as a new content creator, you don't realize that YouTube is really trying to grow your channels in a specific way that works to its algorithm. And as a new content creator, you start to look at the different things that content creators are doing to grow their channels. And sometimes those things are in contrast or in opposition to the way that YouTube is really trying to grow your channel. So I would say, that's a negative thing, from the perspective of a new content creator. Yes, building those relationships are really cool. But at the same time, you start to take on bad habits such as sub for sub and all these other things that, really don't help your channel in the long run. So really be mindful of some of the bad habits that you can pick up along the way and try to steer clear of those. Now, the other thing is that, when we talked about this in a previous video, the laser focus on monetization when you are a new content creator, your first year, you usually really focused on becoming monetized. And sometimes that can be such a crutch that you negate the fact that you should be creating good content. You start to really focus on the monetization of your channel and you start to do all of the things that go along with that are really counterproductive in terms of long-term growth. Now, the other thing is not putting enough focus on how you are building a schedule to create your content. That's another thing that happens in year one because you are gung-ho about, diving right in and creating all of this content. So at the end of the day, you start to get into a space where creating the content becomes harder than it was in the beginning when you had, that fresh new energy in that first couple months, So as that time wanes on, it really becomes a difficult thing that first year to stay in tune or stay up to par with your schedule of posting, because it becomes harder. It becomes harder when you put a lot of pressure on yourself to become monetized. So I would say that's one of the things that you definitely want to watch out for in your first year. Don't become so laser focused on becoming monetized and lose track of how you're going to create your content and put those things out on a regular, consistent basis. Because as we talked about before, consistency is very important. Staying on schedule is very important, and being able to be productive from a standpoint of also you being happy with the content that you're doing is very important, because you can be productive and not be happy with what you're doing, and you still will get to a point of burnout. Don't lose the interest in what you're doing is what I'm trying to say. And the way you don't lose the interest in what you're doing is that you really don't become too laser focused on one thing or one metric that you're trying to grow your channel on, specifically monetization, because that metric alone will cause you to get to a point where that's your sole focus, and you may get burnt out if you don't watch yourself and go down the right road with that. So those are the things I think in the first year that are really things you want to watch out for, and good and bad. You can always get through it if you keep persevering and keep pushing on. And I hope this was helpful to someone, and we'll see you in the next one.